Well, the top of this says it all. Finally over. After 166 days of both of the final two defendants, so Diamante Kendrick and Shannon Stillwell, walked out of court today as free men. They were acquitted of all of the major charges. Stillwell did get one guilty charge that was on a gun possession charge, but he was allowed by the judge to do time served. This entire thing started with a 56-count RICO indictment. And unfortunately, early on, a lot of people took pleas because they were so nervous about the RICO charges, and these guys hung in there till the bitter end. And I think this jury and I think this judge did absolutely right by them. I don't think the evidence was there to convict him of all those crimes. Here's how it played out. So you see here, this is Diamante Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti, not guilty of RICO, not guilty of murder, not guilty of criminal street gang activity, not guilty of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, not guilty of a firearm possession, and not guilty of using a firearm to commit a felony. This is a list of Shannon Stillwell's verdicts here. RICO, not guilty. 2 counts of murder, not guilty. 2 counts of participation in a street gang, not guilty. Possession of a firearm, not guilty. Count 54, it just says not guilty. And then this last one, 56, this is the one that he was found guilty of. It was the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Because he had previously committed felonies, the judge was required to give him the full sentence, which is 10 years. However, she was allowed to probate that however she wanted to. So she chose to give him 2 years to serve and 8 years probation, and then allowed him to do time served, which he'd already served the 2 years. So Stillwell and Diamante Kendrick both walked out of the jail today free men. This is such an amazing outcome. This trial had been going on for, 166 days. It was such a concern from the very beginning that these guys weren't necessarily getting a fair trial, that they might have been guilty of some of these things, but we would never know because they had Judge Glanville in there that we knew, I will say, in my opinion, was biased toward the prosecution. Knew that the prosecution's case was really flimsy and a lot of the shit shouldn't even have been allowed in court. These two, as well as Young Thug and some of the other defendants, had all been denied bond. So since the beginning of the trial took place, they've been sitting in jail. And they have either been in the main Fulton County jail or in one of the annex divisions, right? But both of these men have experienced situations in the jail system where they have both been stabbed, one more serious than the other, but they've both been attacked and stabbed while they have been in the care of Fulton County law enforcement. Fulton County currently has over 1,000 people that are in jail awaiting trial. So those are people that are still presumed innocent, yet they're in with the prison population, probably fighting for their lives every single day because they couldn't afford bail. So they're forced to sit there until their trials come up. And because the district attorney keeps clogging the docket with these big fucking 2-year-long trials on RICO bullshit, those guys can't get their day in court. I am so glad that these two are walking out, and thank goodness for those two defense attorneys. Max Shard and Doug Weinstein did a fucking bang up job of taking care of these two guys, and there was trust and friendship and empathy, and they did everything right. There is no better outcome. It's so appalling that they even had to go through this. Now a jury has said they are not guilty, so this district attorney needs to leave them the fuck alone and let them get back to their lives.